So let's practice doing a little bit of measurement. Are we doing customary or metric? Yeah, we're going to do customary. And you see those two tools? We've got our tape measure, the yellow one that goes to 25 feet. And we have our ruler that starts at 0 and goes to 12 inches. And the first unit of measurement that we want to get comfortable with is inches. 1 inch. And if it's more, then we say inches. So my ruler is 12 inches long. And the next unit of measurement that we want to get comfortable with is foot and feet. So if you have 1 foot from your elbow to your wrist, that's about 1 foot. And if you were to measure your body, it's about 3 to 4 feet. So my ruler is 1 foot long, and my tape measure can reach out to 25 feet long. And the third unit of measurement that we're going to talk about today is yards, although I'm going to repeat myself that people don't use this very much. If you play a sport, soccer, football, baseball, then you might say, oh, I've got to run 100 yards or I have to run 50 yards. But really in measuring, not too much. But if you were to reach across your table from one side to the other, that's about a yard. It measures actually 3 feet, 1 yard. And if you were to measure from the front bumper to the back bumper of a bus, it'd be about 10 yards long, about 30 feet. So here is yards. We've got inches, feet, and yards. So here's a quick recap. What unit of measurement could we use? Inches, those are the smallest guys. Feet, those are kind of in the middle. Yards, and if we go really far, like from here to the mall or here to Las Vegas, we'd say miles, but I'm not going to do miles today. So let's do a little measuring. What do you see in front of you here? Yeah, I've got some sunflowers that grew all by themselves. So if we want to measure this sunflower right here, there's 2 of them, but let's look at this one. What do you think, inches, feet, or yards? Yep, I would definitely measure in inches. So if I were to put my ruler up there, without damaging the flower, it's about 3 inches, maybe a little bit more. What if I wanted to measure how tall the whole plant is? Yeah, probably not inches anymore. I'd probably do feet, and I would guess this one's almost as tall as me. It's about 5 feet, almost 6 feet tall. So I have another plant back here. Emiliano might recognize this one. This is aninium, I think it's called. And if we wanted to measure just one of these little lobes, would we use inches, feet, or yards? Yep, you're right again, we would use inches. So let me get my ruler out. And if we want to measure, let's measure this lobe right here. Take a look, this lobe is about 2 inches long. But if I were to measure this whole plant from the dirt to the top, I don't know if it would be that small. So I'm going to get out my tape measure. You can probably hear it back there. And let's see if we can measure it. If we measure the whole plant from the top, it looks like it goes to about 25 inches. Now, do you notice that right underneath 25 inches it says 24 and there's a black arrow with 2F? What that's telling us is it's 2 feet and 1 extra inch. That's 24 inches plus 1 makes 25. That's kind of cool. Interesting. So we used feet and inches when we measured that one. What about measuring this light? Do you think we should measure it with inches, feet, or yards? If you said inches, I'm going to agree with you. This light is between 6 and 7 inches. So actually we could say 6.5 inches. And what if we were going to measure this bucket? You've probably seen one of these before. It's from one of my favorite stores, Home Depot. Would we measure this in inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, I think it's about a foot, maybe a little more. But if you said inches, I'm going to agree with you too. This bucket is about 15 inches tall. You can see at the 12-inch mark, there's the 1F, which means 1 foot, but this is past that. It's 3 inches past that, 13, 14, 15. So this bucket is 15 inches tall. Do you guys recognize this? Yeah, this is a sprayer you put on the end of hose to water your garden. So if we were to measure that, inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, you could definitely use feet. I think you're right though if you said inches. Let's measure this. And by the way, it's longer than my ruler, so I can't use my ruler, but I can use my tape measure. And if we go down, it looks like it's measuring about 20 inches, maybe just a little bit more than 20 inches long. So not quite 2 feet. Now, right next to my water sprayer thing is this stem. You see it? It used to be covered with flowers. It's from this beautiful aloe plant, which is good. You can actually drink the juice, and you can also put this on your sunburns. What do you think about that stem? Inches, feet, or yards? I think everybody's right. If you said inches, I think we can be exact. If you said feet, I think that's true. And if you said about a yard, I think you're right too. Let's see if we can put our tape measure up to it. Look at that. So I see it's almost to 36 inches, which if you look at 36 inches, it says 3F, that's 3 feet. And if you remember correctly, 3 feet, 1, 2, 3, makes 1 yard. Nice measuring, guys. What unit of measurement would you use to measure these flowers? Inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, inches. Pretty small. What unit of measurement would you use to measure this bench? Inches, feet, or yards? Well, yeah, you could use inches and maybe a yard. I'd say feet. This bench is about 4 feet long. What if I want to measure a refrigerator? Inches, feet, or yards? Yep, you could use inches, you're right. Probably best to measure feet though, and this refrigerator is about 5 feet tall. 5 feet. How about this flower? It's pomegranate flower. Inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, inches. Good job. What about measuring a car? Inches, feet, or yards? You could do inches, but that wouldn't be the best. I'd probably do feet. If you said yards though, yards might work too, because it's kind of long, right? I'd guess that this car is about 16 feet long. And my mailbox, inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, you're right if you said inches. It's about a foot, but I think it's actually more than a foot, so not the best measurement. Look at that. So I would say inches for this mailbox too. And I think you guys are noticing a lot of stuff is measured in inches. It's probably the most commonly used measurement, even for things that are a little bit longer. What about this pumpkin? Inches, feet, or yards? Inches. What about my shoes? Inches, feet, or yards? Yeah, again inches. And let's see. These shoes are about 10 to 11 inches long, right about there.